Today's video was supposed to be titled Bloxburg is fucked, here's the solution. But Bloxburg just dropped the biggest news since they were acquired by Coffee Stain back in 2022, and I'm here to share it with you. My original video was going over all the things that were wrong with Bloxburg, its community, its development team, and all of the changes they're making to the game. Bloxburg is fucked. Have you noticed that all of your content creators no longer make videos playing your game, but rather about how your game is failing? Not only that, but simply play other games now on their channels. Other games that are more successful or more popular on Roblox. And for good reason. Even the most prized and popular Bloxburg creators that were honored with joining your very own creator program have since moved on to playing other games on their channels where they once exclusively played Bloxburg. Is it not apparent to you that something is wrong here? Did you maybe notice that your game recently hit a record low of 6,000 something concurrent players, of which hasn't been hit since around the game's release over 8 years ago? Or have you noticed that people are just a tad bit upset about all the updates and changes that you're making to the game? Did you maybe notice that the only community-wide attention we received in the last year is the biggest Roblox creator on the entire platform protesting your very ownership and the changes that you're making to the game? Or possibly that after expanding your reach by almost tenfold by going free, you failed to retain any of the players that you could have potentially brought to the game, and most of them have quit since then? I'm sure you've noticed that every single social media post that your community managers make are full of complaints and unhappy, once avid Bloxburg players. And one last quick question, have you ever noticed that people don't ever stick around after updates even when they gave them good reviews? Maybe there's a reason for that. Those issues, though, may not be issues for that much longer. Earlier today, Bloxburg put out a statement detailing some changes they're going to be making to both the development of the game and just the game generally. The statement is pretty lengthy, and it reminds me of the one that they put out in May in response to all of our protests about the money update. This statement comes from Froggy Hops, who is now the studio manager and game director for Bloxburg. You may not have heard his name in quite a while because he used to be in a much more prominent role, and he also used to be louder on social media, but he kind of just took a back seat for a couple years, but he's back now. He's the one that made the statement. Hey Bloxburgers, I want to take a moment to personally address some of the feedback we've been receiving. We've made some decisions that clearly haven't lived up to your expectations and instead have created concern about the direction that the game is going. I'm deeply sorry that we've damaged the trust of our community through these actions. Whether it's changes like fainting, the job earnings, or the lack of clarity on our development decisions and processes, we hear you and understand your frustrations. Bloxburg is more than just a game, it's a community, and your passion and love for it is something we deeply value. We are actively making changes to refocus the game's direction, revisiting our team structure to better deliver on your expectations, and reevaluating how we can better include you, our community, in our development. Guys, I'm about to faint. Like, Bloxburg has never done something like this for us. It feels like the whole game has just shifted, like the energy just shifted, bro. I don't know. But then they go in to list some things that they're going to fix in the upcoming future. What we're doing to fix things in this week's update, thanks to your feedback. First, they're increasing the job earnings across the board to make sure that you feel rewarded for the time you spent progressing and can spend more time on creating the builds that blow us away. Meaning they're removing the pay update that everyone hates, so that's the first amazing thing that they're changing. Number two, they're removing the fainting and towing features that they added back in May. While we want to create an immersive life simulation experience, these clearly didn't add to the fun, and we will focus on finding ways to create immersion without things feeling like punishment in the future. The third thing is they're doing a skip all tutorial option, making it easier for both new and returning players to get right into the action of the third thing they're changing is they're adding a skip all tutorial option so that new and returning players can just ease right into the game and they're not stuck on a tutorial for 30 minutes. He also noted that the team worked to fix the controller camera movement, allowing our console players to dive back into building. That was a big one for some players, so I'm glad they fixed that. On top of that, they said they worked to improve our language localizations for players around the globe to have accurate translations, allowing them to play in the language they're most comfortable with. The last thing he added on this list is that they're adding a public neighborhoods feature and new items, which we'll be sharing more details on soon. They go on to say that your input has been critical in shaping these changes and we're listening more than ever. Please continue to share your thoughts. We'll be here reading, listening, and improving. We're excited for what lays ahead and we'll share more with you soon. We're committed to earning back your trust and together we can build a better Bloxburg. Sincerely, Froggy Hops, studio manager and game director, plus the Bloxburg development team. If you notice his title at the end there, that's a big promotion to whatever he was doing before. Before I get to the actual changes they listed in the letter, I want to talk about why these changes are happening. So Nathan here was curious about Froggy Hops' position. He said, so Froggy is now the studio manager and game director, or was he always that? Froggy then replied, I was in the game director role last year until earlier this year, when there were some changes made in our company. And then as of recently, I've returned to directing a project and am now filling the role of studio manager. So pretty much what I got from this is that during when Coffee Stain was doing good, so that was in 2023 when they first took over. Remember, they had all these great updates. Remember the Bloxy Burger update? It was like this time, but last year. And then they also had other big updates throughout the year. We enjoyed Coffee Stain through 2023. No one really had complaints. But then in 2024, when the Christmas update happened and the Advent calendar update dropped, everyone kind of just didn't like Coffee Stain anymore. And then it just went downhill from there. The money update when going free and all of that. So what I think happened is that Froggy Hops was the director of the project up until around the Christmas update of last year. And then this new guy came over and took over the project. And then Rasmus Newton, or something like that, he was the director for Bloxburg for, I guess, the past year. There's a whole story about that, and that's the guy that was running Bloxburg, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, he was the guy that ran Bloxburg for 2024. But now Froggy Hops is back in the role. So hopefully we'll see some big changes and improvements in the rest of 2024 and then through 2025. In addition to the letter and the news about Froggy Hops' new position, Elite here asked, "Nice to see you guys listening. Any updates on the map revamp?" To which Bloxburg replied, "More info on that soon. Will take a little longer than expected," which we kind of knew already, but it's nice that they're actually communicating with us and telling us information. Along with that, they said, "We're planning on answering more questions soon in a Q&A on our Discord server. If you haven't already joined, then here's a link." So they left a link to that Discord server. You should totally attend. I did a Q&A with Froggy Hops years and years ago, and I have video of his voice, him talking and answering questions on my YouTube channel. So I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. It should also be in the eye in the corner if you want to go watch that old interview. But I did ask him some pretty cool questions. So go watch that if you want an idea for what the next Q&A is going to look like. But I would definitely attend this Q&A. I think we'll get some good information out of it. This letter made me way more hopeful for the future of Bloxburg than I was previously. I kind of thought Bloxburg was just going down the toilet and they just didn't really care anymore. And I felt like that for quite a while, but this definitely made me much more hopeful. I want to know what you all's thoughts are on this letter. So let me know down in the comments below. Comment whatever you think. That's going to be it for today's video, guys, though. I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, join my neighborhood because it's super fun in there. And I'll see you all in the next one.